Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Mix Up. We are into summer. I'm really excited because during the season, I will change up some of my makeup and foundation so that the options better suit my deeper skin tone as I soak in more rays. And typically, during the summertime, we're generally more exposed to like the sun, we get more vitamin D, and that always makes me feel more energized. And so we're going to talk about the Tom Ford Soliel de Feu collection highlighters. In this collection, he's also released two quads, and I kind of lost sight of that because they launched maybe launched at Selfridges or with UK retailers and other international retailers, and it wasn't really made available to us until later. And I really have to check if it's now available at places like Nordstrom or even Beautylish. So I'll definitely be checking. But at the time of filming, it's not directly available through US retailers. But what did become available first are going to be the highlighters of the collection. And I have both of them here. I've swatched them, but have not placed them on the face. So I'll just hold them up side by side. We have the 02 Oasis from, again, Soleil de Feu collection, and then 01 Mirage. Come a little bit closer here. You can tell just from looking at the two like this is going to be more golden and bronzy, whereas this is going to have like a pink rose gold undertone. And having swatched these and sharing them on social media, I will say just from that initial sort of testing and playing around, I'm going to have a preference, and it's going to be 01 Mirage. Might be a bit too bronzy and golden for my skin tone at this time, but towards like middle, end of summer, I think it'll be more suited. We'll find out. We'll actually find out. So I have a base on, and I'll definitely put some blush on and then play with these highlighters. So I'm gonna swatch them first. Let me get into 01. And you'll see what I mean by that kind of bronze golden. The texture of it, as it, through the swatch, you can see it's more metallic and less about glitter and shiny specks. And this is 02 Oasis. Oasis is more glittery, and I feel like it's more chunky, not as smooth, but it is a beautiful shade, and I just have a feeling this is gonna suit my skin tone more, and I can just tell from the swatches, at least at this time. So let's choose a blush because I always like to pair the highlighter with the blush. So I'm gonna go ahead with a blush first. And today I'm taking Suku's New Summer Collection 140 here, this marble blush. It's gorgeous. It has that kind of beigey tone to it. And what's amazing, you can see as I'm sweeping, the marble pattern stays intact. Now, the colors are bleeding into the lighter parts of it, but when you clean it or when you go over it with a big brush, it kind of moves everything. It falls back into place. So I find that amazing. I really find that way of, I guess, placing the product so it gives you this final effect or overlay. It tells me that it's actually throughout the entire product. So it's not just the top layer that appears as like a marble. If you are interested to know more about this Suku Summer Limited Edition collection, I do have a dedicated video. I'll definitely be sharing a link below, and if I do remember during edits, I'll put that up here as well. So it's got this nice beigey, against my skin tone, looks kind of caramel-like payoff. It's buildable, but is on more the subtle side, and that's what I intend to do because I do want the highlighters to be the show, the star of the video. Let me get into first 01 Mirage, and I'm using Sonia G's Hinoki brush here. This is the smaller of the two Hinoki brushes. I believe this brush collection is now sold out, but I did oftentimes, when it was available, talk about it a lot. So that's a nice golden tone. You can really see it too. And again, I do really think when I've gotten more sun, it's gonna really complement the skin tone, but I love that bronzing effect that you do see. So up here it looks kind of a little bit too heavy because I am lighter right now, but I just love the reflective quality to it, and it looks really smooth. So that's the other thing. It goes on smoothly and it doesn't highlight any texture. Really, really pretty. Really like instant bronzy glow effect. Very pretty. Let me clean this off. I'm gonna get into Oasis. My concern with Oasis is that it's just more glittery, so textures can be highlighted or more prone to be highlighted because of that, and it's just chunkier overall, but let's put it to the test. That's a lot. That's a lot, and I went in with about the same amount of strength. All right, let me just dip it into the pan again and then apply some up here. Okay, I feel like this is so much heavier. I'm gonna clean it off, but let's just look at it closely before I do that. This also gives you the bronzing effect. It's definitely more pink, and it's still my opinion that I think it suits my skin tone at this time a little bit more. And if it's a little bit toned down here, I'm sure it'll look less awkward. It's really heavy right now. And it's still, just like its counterpart Mirage, have that reflective quality to it. I do think it looks a little bit more intense because of the glitter. Overall, these two highlighters, for a luxury brand, they're more pigmented intense. When I compare it to Chanel, Dior, to an extent Suku even, you really don't get this kind of payoff typically with their highlighters. This reminds me more of Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, and actually, especially this side, Hourglass's Metallic Ambient Highlighter Palette. And I have all of those, so I'm going to take them out so we can do some comparisons. First, we're going to take this here, which is called Absolute Strobe Light, and then this here, Lucent Strobe Light, and compare these two. The brightness and intensity are more than the Tom Ford Soliel de Feu highlighters, but there is similarity between this one here and Mirage. So it has this is peachier, so it has more of a bronzing effect than these. These are really, as the name implies, they're highlighters. They don't really bronze. They're just very reflective. You can see yourself from, from a different planet. That's how reflective they are. But these have, because they're released during the summer, they're limited edition, they do have a bronzing effect. I think that's very appropriate for the collection. But they're very, very, very bright and noticeable. I think they're really beautiful. And I think in terms of intensity effect, it's comparable to the strobe or metallic strobe highlighters from Hourglass. Before I move on to more comparisons, I kind of skipped over this in the beginning, but a word on the packaging. They're these bronze shade mirror-like compacts, which I think are gorgeous, really beautiful. Really nice to see that kind of seasonal change. They do come with these white velour pouches, and then also kind of matching exterior or boxes that also have that bronzy reflective quality to it. When it comes to luxury makeup, which is what this channel really focuses on, I do spend time talking about the packaging because it's part of the experience. It's actually part of what you pay for, is that luxury packaging. So definitely up to Tom Ford's quality, really gorgeous, bronze mirror-like, and these are made in Italy, by the way, and most of Tom Ford's makeup, if not all, to my memory, are their products are made in Italy. Moving on to other brand comparisons, I then have a Pat McGrath highlighter that I think there's some similarities here because unlike her, she has some highlighters that are more smooth metallic and finished, but this one tends to have more sparkle to it. So this highlighter is from her Skin Fetish line Divine Glow Highlighter Golden Nectar. And I believe this one is a not a limited edition highlighter like her seasonal holiday ones that you can kind of get all year round and will continue to be stocked. This is actually more similar to probably to Hourglass than it is to these two. Again, this shade in particular does not give a bronzing effect at all. It's more to complement and make the skin glow rather than giving it some warmth or color. And then I have here from Natasha Denona her Glam Face Palette in light. She also has a counterpart to this for deeper skin tones. What I'm interested in is this highlighter here. Again, also very, very bright. You can see why the intensity really reminds me, and the brightness of the highlighter itself really reminds me of what we're getting from Tom Ford. You know, it's funny. These are all kind of similar. This is like an in-between of maybe these two or this one and this one here. But it's more of a smooth metallic than it is glittery. So, or, you know, maybe a better way to say it is that the glitters here are very fine in comparison. I think we're still seeing chunkier results or chunkier payoff from especially Oasis and less so from Mirage. But yeah, the finish is a little bit different, and these are definitely more my skin tone type. For the last part of this video, I've switched things up a little bit, and I want to do a quick eye look and then some lipstick to round it off. I won't go through like I usually do when I review a quad or eyeshadow palette, is to show you all the different steps. So I'm just gonna put the colors on, complete the look, and I'll come back for final thoughts. For this eye look, I did use Tom Ford's fairly new eyeshadow quad Golden Hour, my favorite of the trio that was released at the same time, although some of you guys have told me that you're very much drawn more to Hazy Sensuality. It's a cooler tone palette. I do have dedicated videos to both Golden Hour and Hazy Sensuality if you're interested. I'll try to remember to put all the links below. But I did start out with this shade and put it generously all over the lid. And then I went into the deepest shade from this color story here and put that just above the upper lash line and blending it towards the middle of the lid. Finally, I went into this golden shade and placed that onto the crease. So you've got, you know, some color all the way up to the crease, and it just starts to lighten up as we move upwards here. So this look is really easy, really quick. It gives me a little bit of dimension, a chance to play with 3 of the 4 shades here. I could go a step further and do something under the eyes. I could also deepen the outer corners a bit more, but most days, if I'm putting makeup to go to work, that's about how much time I spend on my eyeshadow. I wanted to use Golden Hour not because I really like this quad, but also very curious how it would pair with these 2 highlighters. It's warmer out of the 2 newer eyeshadow quads I picked up from Tom Ford, and I must say, with this kind of pink, peachy, It does match Oasis better than it does Mirage, although no issue, right? They both kind of go, especially during the summer. You can really mix and match your highlighter, bronzers, and whatnot. But if you're looking for that pink on pink, it's definitely going to be Oasis when combined with something like this, Golden Hour. Along with that trio launch of the quads, there is one more color story that I didn't get. It's Peach Dawn. It's the warmest out of the three. And I'm willing to bet that because it's peachy and warm, it probably does go with Oasis as well. So those are my thoughts there. For lipstick, I chose something lighter, but still very glowing to match the overall look. Lighter so that it offsets these really warm tones. And this is gonna be Chantecaille's Lip Chic in the shade Jasmine from their Giraffe collection. And that is normally the kind of makeup look I take to me with work, minus less bronzer, less glow highlighter. But I think over the summer I'll definitely be playing more with these products. Off camera, I did go in and lighten up this area a bit. If you've noticed it, that's what it is. I basically took a Q-tip here and just went like that to take off some product. I think this looks much more what I'm used to, what I would actually wear. So this is the finished look. I'm glowing, I'm ready to go outside and just soak in some more rays. Thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.